Okay, we shall for Mediana like one senior woman. No, my moon sent so, and they about program. Maybe I'm the country of the Copia and the JCBM to Pebro. So what I say, and they about program, the Yamami also program, a vacation, a Mishla the bar. I don't say, but Nipa dream home in your monument and do a beer, and want some canading. Then you invited doctors, I would do a more pain, or just a more bill, and never betray idea. I will follow me more in your questions. Now, I'm person myself, no, with the full videos in your YouTube. What I say, follow me, I will do TV. Number one, TV because soon there, the people are getting more to why soon there. If you say, yes, my year, the year normally a cover, one soon there, so whom I be all day when you are bed, you be able to boom and anifa. And then you ever see one maybe, but me, never see anything. You didn't have a ever grow. I'm cast with the buy any from here now. But what do you follow me? Our social media platforms on him. Over TikTok, Lion One. Over Facebook, I do. Over YouTube, I do TV. So what I say, you didn't have any way yet. Mum, and I'm so unmenty. But the way I ever bro. The program name here, I my moon sem. I will do TV. Go follow up. No one like it was subscribe. It was share. Now you have been trying and you're saying it. That means now, to the all follow me. Let's not share you.
And we're channeling our energy into topics as this year's topic is autism and ADHD. I would like to welcome everybody, representative of the Minister of Health, Dr. Hafiz, Ghana Library Authority, distinguished speakers, parents, students, educators, policymakers. I'm excited that you were able to join us this morning, and I hope this conversation is going to be impactful as we leave here. For those who are not able to be here, I hope this conversation goes beyond this room. My name is Jahara Osman, and I am the founder of the Mental Health Forum. I was diagnosed with late ADHD about 5 years ago, and I took it upon myself to share my story, to allow people that have experienced what I have experienced to know that you are not alone. The journey of being autistic or being ADHD is a never-ending journey. And once you know who you are, and the society know who you are, I think living becomes a lot more easier. Today, we are gathered here not only for a conversation, but a movement towards mental health. The most important movement is understanding, which is very key, and this is that is the whole passion that I have about this mental health forum. Change starts with conversations. Beyond social media, beyond actions within our homes, schools, and healthcare system and communities. For the past few months, my team and I have worked diligently. We visited autistic care centers, parents, interviewed parents, spoken to policymakers about how to bridge the gap. Today, every parent here should know that you are not alone. Every child here with autism or ADHD, your mind is not broken. Your difference is valid, and you deserve a world that understands. I also want to take a minute to thank our partners, sponsors, volunteer, and healthcare workers, Premier Mind and Wellness. And if I've forgotten anybody, I'll take a look at it again. For all your support, and we hope that we continue this journey with your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, let's do it for top of it. It takes courage to open up about a mental health crisis, considering how we shy away from it in this country. Jahara, thank you very much. Please.
As a ministry, we affirm our abilities and functioning in society, and will continue to institute measures to ensure that your well-being and development are central. I am particularly encouraged by the presence of our partners and stakeholders here today, whose continuous support is critical to the success of our collective effort. Most importantly, it is the participation of the media in this event that's very important for you to sell us out to the public. So your contribution towards awareness and advocacy is deeply appreciated. I will encourage you to do more. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I encourage everyone here to also take the knowledge shared today beyond the forum into your homes, schools, workplaces, healthcare systems, and communities. Awareness creation and understanding of mental health issues is the first step in reducing stigma towards people living with mental health conditions. And so, on behalf of the Minister of Health, and on my own behalf as a guest of honor, I once again commend Premier Care for organizing this impactful and important forum and for contributing meaningfully to mental health awareness in Ghana. I thank you for your attention and wish you all a successful and insightful forum and pray that may good Lord protect us and bless our homeland Ghana. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. No, you cannot go yet. Please wait for a second. Dr. Hafiz, I want you to stand by me for a second. We know that recently Ghana launched the free primary health care. In fact, it was spearheaded by your ministry. Does it cover mental health?
I'm sure maybe you are reading your messages on WhatsApp. That's why you're here. But I emphasize on that mental health is and was central when we launched the primary health care. The reason why we're building capacity, because when it comes to the primary health care level, we are looking at the scope of certain conditions that can be easily handled by nurses and community health nurses and others. But we've raised the bar and we are subjecting them to building their capacity, first of all, to be able to detect early, and then secondly, early detection, and so the management of it. And so there's no doubt about the fact that the free primary health care, in fact, that's even the most important thing, not just primary health care, but the fact is that it's free at that level. And you know, we have three levels where you have free primary health care at the lower level, where you go for ailment and other things. And then you have the second phase of it, where you go to the health centers and then the district hospitals, where you now be required to use your NHI card. And then the third level, where His Excellency President Mahama came out with a beautiful idea that look, apart from the free primary health care, the NHI, there's a level of certain conditions that you may get to that your NHI will not be useful to you because you would have ended the scope of the services that the NHI covers. And so what happens? For instance, if you have chronic renal failure and you
The diagnosis, the realities, struggles, and strength of raising children with autism. I'll be doing that with a panel, and I'll just go quickly and introduce them. I will first have Mavis Asantua Opoku. She is a public health mental health officer at the Accra Psychiatric Hospital and the executive director of the Rock Foundation. Mavis, can we see you? Give her a hand, please, as she comes up on stage. The next person to join us on stage is Amina Soa. She is a parent and a grandparent navigating the realities of supporting a child with autism. Amina, where are you? Please join me on stage. The third person will be Noah Elom Dati, whose parenting journey includes raising a child living with autism and cerebral palsy. Can we see you, please? Can you join us on stage? We will also be speaking to this morning Deborah Jakasu, also a parent of a child with autism who continues to advocate through lived experience. Deborah. All right. Finally, we have Olivia Akeleye, also a parent of a child with autism. She's bringing her personal journey and perspective to today's discussions. And it is worthy to note that all these people, or majority of them, are here with their children, so they can better speak to the subject matter. Once again, we are discussing beyond the diagnosis, the realities, the struggles, and the strength of raising children with autism. Please give them a hand for them. And of course,
it all started with a shock because from the beginning, I have been seeing it around the hospitals. Anytime I go to the hospitals, I've been seeing it around it. I find it difficult to believe that this thing does exist, but until it happens to me one day, when I noticed from the childbirth of my son, and from the month of from 3 months to 4 months, he's supposed to sit. Actually, when you put the child down, supposed to sit. As for me myself, I'm a construction worker, so I'll be going to work all the time. But the mother is with the child, so I know nothing about um, the child well-being. So one day I was at work and the mother called me. The child is not sitting. Whenever I put it down, it falls back.
that's after 3-4 months.
Yes. When I put it down, it falls at the side and front. So something is wrong. We should take him back to the regional hospital where it all started. It all started when they gave birth to him 7 months, 2 weeks, 2 days. So in the hospital. The following day, early in the morning, the midwife told us that she has noticed some yellowish sometimes at the eye, which is jaundice. So she'll rush him to the regional hospital.
That's right at birth.
Yes, right at birth. He was born at midnight. So early in the morning, the midwife came and saw that. So we have to rush him to the hospital, regional hospital. It took about 3 hours journey to the regional hospital. So when we got there, they admitted him and they started working on him. So we
Okay, you will. I want to know autism. Wow. That's why you ever say yes, okay. So let's be the mic now. We want to talk.
Now, father, Tim Father, Busua was auntie, body is special.
Banana Kasanya or Nana.
Nana,
Okay.
so what's a grand Sahara? Sasiake Foundation. To what a crown, and I
But before we began in one, now as him to say, because Oba, near Onana, I want to have a mental health.
Special school. Nay, your papa. Many of them also. Not because she are made to go. Bobby and modern away. Away and wash them.
Or take advantage of Oba, no, or changing say, or because of the condition.
Wash them. See, no, money is
7, son of mine.
Me too, one of two. You want, it's all good. And I'm being never. The Bible has 16 years, yeah, no, 16 years. As for radio, I would jail. Why I would that's how one paying us in that so. I'm glad to say when you me and what because yeah, so I'm not going to a sample you. Myself. I'm not saying
when I open and say, "Oh, no,
never, not enjoy the other.
if you,
Why, Papa. One hour, baby, and copy our village, meaning 9 o'clock. Tine, na me twane. Atade ba ko be ni wie na ne ba ko a ewo ne mo a me ja de ton se on kasa. Se bi o be ko ja na kura. Ko bu nu. Ni ko echi me ba no ya ni be ja no. Me ba no na me ba ni si bia so. Na mo asara de de no. Because of ko ja na bu no. Me share ko to ta su sa me share e ha me. Ana me ja echi no. Na me ti ni fi. Nti in fact na ebe di ni ɛdan a yɛbɛrɛ nti ade mu no na yɛ di ma mi ati asi n'aka na mɛ ntumi tua mɛ bi so a ntumi tua kaka
oh, yeah, then I will cheer.
mɛ wɔn mma mpanyinfoɔ mi dida ma wɔn mu ɔtɔ so fɔ nso ɔmo sɛ kame nya sukuu na ɛde ne bɛ kɔ no ne nya sukuu no ti mi ma ne bɛ ti di fie ɛna mɛ de hwɛ mpanyinfoɔ no to ɔmo awie sukuu ɛnɛ ɔmo na ɔmo yɛ adwuma kankara ɔmo de yɛ dɛ ɛhwɛ yɛ nti edidi maa fi dɛ nti oge.
Only a star boy, but okay. Catching your experience. First of all, we can sing. So, okay, you've been living with him for the past 10 years. Okay, catching your experience.
Me die na the one no. Next for no mo share me. Almost me time you see it some for die. Lady be advice me say sometimes next for no time so go and sometimes you I had try so over na me see okay. Me try say me na me friends. Not for them because I don't know what for bed no and I be for bed. Me for bed no so I plan it after the chim my prayer ya bo me sa ya bo me akasa after the man no things the ban when so 1 month when 1 month na on refer your call trauma see for that trauma so for 2 weeks after 2 weeks now so young break obey okay nti ya be fie no se na mo ayi nti ka se no ano okay and sa kakra obey fie no be no kakra for 6 months no san jai nti vitamin and ya man saa nti onye 1.5 no and I design the cheap nti the cheap ba ne 7 months no kasa or 19 I feel the one me be like say then na say nyama nkoyi because 7 months of me na kasa na we 1.5 or 2 years na but me nka ma dia na say problem wo nti na me hwɛ TV station me hwɛ TV GTV and I say akwala nya 1.5 2 years at least on come ma na da no more mass education nti me husband buy na me ka kyerɛ me say see it's not okay when you find to hospital no straight road I'm salvation na de koye nti le koye ne me de akwala no koye na mo assist akwala no so e ba ne de ye delay nti wo ma ye dro say ya fama no ndru no ni boy ni papa saa for 6 months na so okay yan san fa no ko we de baba si ya koye na we de baba for ya ko children hospital from there no I have couple put up labs amano labs man no go say we speaker at so easy the cover as na papa kita no isi medicate one shemechi na ko na baba edu be na skasa na easy
But before we were not we juma.
before me o na me ejuma okay na me ton ade but ebe an sa na the bibia season no papa na the bibia okoba nti ebe an sa no.
And it's not fun. Like as today I'm saying it looks funny and you be like, even that's it. But when you get to that level, it is a different issue. And I just sat down and I was just praying to my God, Lord of Jesus, Lord of Jesus. I was like, where have you gone? And the man was chanting heavily. She would have even said, he would have said anything and I would have believed. And the next thing is that where your daughter was coming from, he was married to a cripple, and he didn't seek permission from the cripple before coming, and therefore they presented him like this. And I was like, okay, so what is there to do? Sister,
Wait, was there going to be a divorce between she and the cripple?
in that instance, I didn't even know what to even say or do at that. So the next question will be, okay, what is there to be done? And they were like, okay, I need to present a cobra, a number of eggs they counted. There are some animals, it was now that I noticed they don't even lay eggs, they actually give birth. But they were asking for all those eggs. Plus 3,000 dollars, that is 30 or so, because my daughter is 4, that is 14 years ago. Plus 3,000 dollars, that time, that was 30 million. So you can just imagine, me, now, I'm looking very difficult to eat with all these eggs. So I asked them, okay, when we go, what is going to happen? They are telling me that there's a small river, they will leave the eggs beside the river and leave my daughter around it, and the spirit, the husband will come. And I said, if my son goes to Kakari, I'm telling you, I would have still gone for that option. Because having a child not knowing what to become of him in the future. As we all sit here, we have children that we are aspiring to become accountants. But I can tell you for a fact, those of us here, we know our children can never get saved, even with this kind of system we live in. Because when you give birth to a child with special needs in Africa, it's not a big matter, it is just you and the child.
Was it spirit be a husband? Well, what I do now, was it in the animal fee? Let me see the well, what I saw, good on a movie. Well, when I my sister, should not this day. And whenever I was trying to know when you didn't know I did. Oh, no, let me sue you and chin, benefit the man at the way of one. I'm the one who feel. What is Madam, maybe I can start. Maybe. Because me and the tears here, the hand will be back.
I wanted to kill myself and leave him so that I would just go because the pressure is too much. Because now if you take him out from the house and bring him back to the house, you have to take an Uber or drop in at least in and out 500 Ghana cedis. Yes, in and out 500 Ghana cedis. My only source of happiness is whenever I see him and he smiles back at me. And I started crying, he smiles, I started crying, he smiles, then I stopped crying. If I should have had a little money on me at the early stage, like I think we should have walked by now. All I want for my son is to walk so that I can also take him to school and also concentrate on my work and my future. So my appeal right now is medically. I think if my son will be attended to medically, he can walk or speak. Yes, and there's some devices he can walk or speak. And then education wise, at the age of 8 years, still at home. Yes, but the reason why I'm not taking him to school is that every 2 weeks.
Trying to eliminate stigma associated with mental health diseases. So we're not doing this alone. We're fortunate to have sponsors such as INI, Pinocchio, KGL Foundation, Lay Pavilion, Gourmet Gardens, and we are partnered by Premier Mind and Wellness, the premier clinic for mental health diseases, Premier Aesthetic Clinic, the Ministry of Health, the Diaspora Affairs.
So we're working with the Ministry of Education, and as you know, the Mental Health Authority and Ministry of Health, we're working with educators to bridge the gap between mental health, neurodivergence, and education. As she mentioned, children with autism have a different brain pattern than neurotypicals. So the school system needs to include special timing. When you're writing an exam, a child with autism or ADHD may need an extra half an hour or an hour to finish the exams. Our studies this
Private school and a genius, I'm talking about genius here. So it doesn't matter whether you are in a private genius school or a public genius school. Whichever one you fall under, you are still under genius. So with either genius schools in whichever area, you just move on to go for that support that the person needs. But one thing I must say is that sometimes our parents, we tend to see that a child needs help education-wise. For learning disabilities, yes, you don't get to see them. It's not written on a child's face. Neither is it clearly visible that this child has this or this child has that. And that's the reason why we have something that we call the hidden disabilities. And for hidden disabilities, it cuts across whether the child is on the spectrum, whether the child has ADHD, whichever condition.
Who are brave enough to sit and talk about the condition of their child. You see, the first thing for a parent to be able to help your child is acceptance. Being able to accept that my child needs help, and they have done that. And then the second step is being open about it and not worry about what people are going to say about you, and being confident enough to talk about it and get that help. It takes a lot of energy, and I thank the parents for speaking up. And as my sister was speaking, a lot of things was crossing through my mind as she was talking. So I'm gonna break it down so the English doesn't sound so foreign, so we all have to understand it. So about maybe 18 months to 2 years old, that's on Timini Kasa, notify your doctor. Say, or eye contact, notify your doctor. Say, or you're selective with food, notify your doctor. Say, or say, when I'm free, notify your doctor.
So that's not a normal thing.
No. If your son or your child is tippy-toeing, notify the doctor. You see, at the 18 months, your child should at least have 10 words. It is a custom, mostly parents wait till their child. The reason why I'm speaking Tree and I'm mixing it up because I've been in Ghana since October. And I want us to understand that autism and ADHD is differences, right? The difficult part of it is having parents to come to the terms that they use that language and it's hurtful and people don't want to come up, right? And you have a hard time understanding why people are not getting diagnosed late. It's because of the language, right? And so I want to say this for sure. It's a matter of differences. And the differences shows in different levels. You have a level 1, level 2, and level 3. In America, being a therapist, we don't deal with levels anymore because children evolve so much. And if you put in the work as these parents have put in the work, you see the results. So we don't want to be all English, but we want to bring it down. And I give an example. If they stomach, their hands is in your face, see your doctor. If they're flapping, you're very selective. Yes, we understand that when the children is really involved in watching TV and watching YouTube, they're not gonna hear you. But you need to understand if it's continuously, then you need to seek help. You don't need a diagnosis to seek help. 18 months, 2 years old, don't wait till that child is 3, school age. If they're having a hard time socializing with other children, you need to seek help. So I don't do it too much. Seek the help.
So these are very basic things that we tend to know.
Yes, don't and it's okay because most of us never had a child on the spectrum. ADHD that akwadaa na ɔkasa nso obɛhyerɛ si fam asese a no fear. And then you say, oh, my minimum. No, don't do that. Get help. Be realistic, acknowledge it before I give the mic to the next person. Another way of healing autism or reversing autism is through food. You have to be intentional. You don't need a doctor. Once you get the diagnosis, right? That's what my sister was saying. Once you get the diagnosis, and they don't talk about it a lot. I was talking to someone in the company, and somebody will say, Stella, how does changing my food looks like? Yeah, come back the way that you did our Ghana. You know, I'm so like overwhelmed with working with snacks, being juice and cookies. And everybody's so affluent now that we eat KFC and Burger King and pizza and processed food. And I'm not attacking anybody. But if you want healing, even for neurotypical children, if you want your child to be able to sit still and focus and be engaged and listen to what's going on, it has to start from your home. And if you want your child to compete at a level where they need to compete with everybody, then the teacher starts with a parent. So then what I would say is, if you have a child on the spectrum, so now I've given you a little bit about symptoms, things to look for, right? They're not talking, they're tippy-toeing, they're not responding. And the initial two speakers have touched on a couple of them. But with parents, I noticed my son's behaviors from when he was 5. So his first therapy was 5 years old. And a lot of parents wait for a long time because they want to avoid labels or categorization or stigma. But a delay does not remove the condition. It simply delays support. So even if you wait 5 years, 10 years, it's not going to change the condition. So the early you notice some of the symptoms, as has been said, he can't sit still. He does things a certain way. It is best to go and take him to therapy. So we are probably on our 4th side, psychiatrist or clinic that we go to. But I think it's very important as parents. It is okay. Don't feel too bad about it. Don't be too concerned about what people will think. Your focus should be on the child. It's not about society. It's not about those who are outside. And you need to go and get help. But before parents can do that, they need to recognize the symptoms. That is where awareness really, really needs to come from. I knew it because I'm an organizational psychologist.
So let's not pretend. It's a community burden, it's a community attitude we need to change. If you see someone going through it, and the other one, oh, you don't discipline your child. Hey, I've heard it several times. When a child cannot sit, and you're a parent, you're moving to the mall or something, people assume it's lack of discipline. Don't say things you do not know and understand. Parents cannot walk around with their diagnosis on their chest so that you can be more human. Just be a decent human being from the beginning. So what we say, how we create an environment for their mental well-being, and again, if the parents themselves are not in a frame of mind that allows them to give the best they can to their children, what help can they give? The parents are not sleeping. They don't have money for rent. They don't have food. They don't know what their future holds. How do they then create the right environment around the child for the child to thrive? So your auntie has a child who is hyper, or your sister, or a friend in the neighborhood. And instead of supporting or being there and encouraging, you are downing on them. You don't want them at family gatherings. You don't want to buy from them. How do they better their lives to support the children? And again, there's no one size fits all. Autism is a spectrum. They look different. See, one can be an Elon Musk, and one can be someone who can't even get out of the room. So if you've seen an autistic child, you've seen one autistic child. Do not cast your don't brand them one way. Oh,
But we put it out there because there are other countries that are doing it.
And Ghana is big on copying other countries. So let's copy the right way, okay? Let's get our children educated. If they cannot be educated in the classroom, let them be educated in the school. You want to empower a parent? Bring your teacher to teach the parent how to educate their child, because they don't have the knowledge. So to put all of that in the parent, I think is very sad. So the government needs to step in and help parents and help the citizens. Hopefully they heard us. And then the second thing, I want to address that young lady's question. You see, there are levels of autism, right? The higher functioning child is a child that's able to master. And the higher functional child is the one that's able to realize there's something going on with me, right? They are older now, so they're self-aware now of what's going on. So if you're older and you never got diagnosed, you need to get diagnosed. In Ghana, that paper may not mean a lot, but in America it means a lot. Get that paperwork that says that you are on some type of spectrum. So that's the first thing you do. Secondly, you acknowledge it and you seek for resources, and you seek for help. And you have to talk to yourself. If you're going somewhere that's going to overwhelm you, you need to prepare yourself. If this crowd is going to overwhelm you, do not go. If you can stay for 5 minutes, you stay for 5 minutes, and that's it. When you have that paperwork and you are employed, you see the good thing now is the technology makes us understand.
But when it is in the spectrum, whether it's on the extreme end and you are not balanced, that is where it's a mental health disorder. So I have it, you have it, all of us here, we have it because we have brains that functions daily.
So automatically we have mental health.
Yes,
It only becomes a problem when it's on the spectrum.
When it's on the spectrum or it's on the extreme end. So what we try for is to live a balanced life daily, to be balanced. So when you're going through stress, you make sure that at the end of the day you de-stress so it doesn't compile. When it compiles, then you get a mental health illnesses, right? So when you're going through depression, it's more like low moods. And then when you don't visit a psychologist to help with your low moods, then it compiles. And like a balloon, when you overinflate a balloon, it bursts. So that's how the symptoms now becomes very visible, where you can't hide it, where you can't mask it, and everyone gets to see that you're going through some mental health.
Okay, but is attending to or visiting the clinical psychologist the only way to distress? Because most of us here, we are working so hard. You're dealing with corporate issues, family issues, personal issues. Majority of us are stressed. Do you have to come to the clinical, or do I have to come to you to help me with my low mood? Or there are other realistic and practical alternatives that we can use?
Okay, so I said this because we want to fight ignorance. And the Bible says, lack of knowledge make my people perish. So when I come from a stance of ignorance, you may not have, you may not know how to deal with it if you are not being taught how to. I know there's social media trends that can show you how to de-stress, but it's not from a clinician point of view. And so there are a lot, CBT, mindfulness, yoga. Our next project is to work with parents if you're here today, with teachers if you're here today, to do workshops in libraries across Ghana to educate parents with children with autism. So if you're someone who has a foundation, if you're someone who works with schools, if you're a special education teacher, this is the time to engage us and through these workshops. It's not just going to be in Accra.